back, baby. It has been so long. I think it's been like forever. You can see the blue background. You guys know what that means. We're back in the lab. That means that we are cooking and we're live. So I appreciate y'all tapping in. We're here on X. We're here on Twitch. Appreciate you guys here at Noble Living. You know it's your boy, and we are going to cook up some winners today. College basketball, NBA. I've got a few plays on the way. Let's see what we're getting into. This is the Free Three.
I love it, Noble. Noble, I also love your YouTube videos. I watched them while I was gone. That was fire.
But getting paid because yesterday we had a full sweep. My going under, that was just icing on the cake. Why are we going to go in such a weak AFC South? Unless we have the NBA Blowout Association.
Bang! Knicks take a 1-point lead with 13
When you hear the sirens, you know what that means.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Happy Thursday, everyone. It is your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we just try to get to the bag together and make that money. I do appreciate you guys for tapping in over the last few days, and I do apologize as well for not being live on stream and live here on the YouTube channel over the last several days as I've been traveling, but I am back home for the next like 2-3 days. But I will be streaming live and I will be having some picks. But if you have not catched us live, then make sure you guys are following us on X and YouTube at DYF Bets, so this way you guys can stay up to date on all the latest picks, plays that we're dropping. Yesterday wasn't the best day that we've had here on the channel. We're going to do a quick recap about how yesterday went, and then we're going to go straight into the picks and plays for today. I have realized that the videos have been taking a little bit longer, so my goal is to kind of start shorting them up back to about 15-20 minutes or so this way I'm not yapping so much, and then we're not having 30-40 minutes of analysis. I have been giving more games, so it's requiring me to talk a little bit more, but my goal is to try to kind of breeze through these games a little bit faster for you guys. If you do like the longer form content, feel free to drop a comment below, let me know, and I have no problem yapping for 30-40 minutes, but I just want to do what's best for the people, what you guys like, and I think the 15 minutes, 12 minutes, less than 20-minute videos have been doing all right for us, all right? So for today, last night here on the channel, it wasn't our best day like I mentioned. We actually finished 1-4 on the picks that I put out. You can see here, this is how we've been doing on Action Network. Make sure you guys are following us at Noble Living, so this way you guys can get all the latest picks and plays. Over the last 7 days, you can still see that we're up over $1,000 here, but it's been a rough last 2 days or so. It's been up and down. Yesterday, really disappointing. We took Rutgers +7. You could have gotten them +10. I grabbed them +10. I doubled down later on. Once I realized that Dylan Harper was out, I grabbed them at +10.5. So you had the ability to get really good odds value on this. And if you had taken the money line, it would have been +400. You would have cashed in. We lost on Jason Tatum over 8.5 rebounds. He finishes with 8. That's annoying, but it happens. And Porzingis decides to have like 12 rebounds. The dude never wants to grab rebounds, so that's disappointing. And then you can see here we lost on Washington. We needed them to cover the 5.5 point spread, Wisconsin, and they end up losing the game by 8. They were down by like 6 points or 4 points with 4 minutes left to go, and they only scored 2 field goals in the last 5 minutes of the ball game, and we still had a chance to cover. So it was a very tough loss there for Wisconsin. Shout out for Maryland picking up the win. A lot of people were on Maryland yesterday. I didn't really like the spot, but they were able to pull it out. And then our two bankroll builders of the day were just that hurts. This one really hurt. Why? Because Florida State just got clobbered in the first half. I knew that was cooked. And then Bradley, I knew that was cooked. So for me, I was just like, okay, one of the bankroll builders are done. That's fine. Let's see if we can win the other one. And I was looking at my phone last night around like 8 o'clock, and I saw that Old Dominion was staying in the game. And I'm like, App State, come on. And I almost doubled down on App State live on the money line at like -130, and I'm glad I didn't because you can see they lost the game 78-77. We got every other pick right. Temple took overtime for them to grab the win, double overtime actually, but they're able to grab the win. So overall, a 1-4 day. In the 8 games that I gave out for the Parlay Builder, we did go 5-8, 5 for 8. I mean, yeah, 5 for 8. So it wasn't like the worst day, but a loss is a loss is a loss. So 1-4 on the day yesterday, but that's okay. We're not going to dwell on it. We're going to bounce back today. It is a marathon, not a sprint, and I have a few games that I like today. We have a full slate of NBA games. Well, not a full slate, but like 6-7 games on today, which is not bad. And then we have a good amount of college basketball action as well. So for today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a bankroll builder, because you guys know that's what I love. Bankroll builders have been cashing in for us. I'm going to give you a few NBA player props and a custom same game parlay parlay in the NBA. I'm having a little fun today, okay? So the first best bet of the day, not going to yap too long. We're going to go here to the Rockets and Grizzlies game. And you're probably saying, no, but what are you going to take in this game? Are you going to take the one guy who's going to play against his old team, who's going to get a little bit riled up, who just came off of hitting 10 3-pointers in one game? That's right. But I'm not going to go Dillon Brooks points. I'm not going to go his assists. I'm going to go Dillon Brooks over 3.5 rebounds. This was one of the best bets that Doink Sports have kind of pointed out to me, and I really like it today. As we can see here, Dillon Brooks is taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. You guys know that's where he made his name. That's where he kind of created that villainous role. And we're going to take his rebounds today, and we could see we're going to go over 3.5 rebounds. Now, over the last 10 games or so, Dillon Brooks is averaging about 3 rebounds per game. He's gone under this number in 4 of the last 10 games, including only 2 rebounds last game, 3 rebounds the game before that, and 6 against the Cavaliers. So you're saying, no, but it's only a 40% hit rate. Why would you take Dillon Brooks' rebounds? Well, let's go and see how he's done against Memphis specifically. Against Memphis, ever since he left the squad, he's gone over this number in 6 of 7 games. He's averaging 5 rebounds against them, including 2 times this past month that he's faced them. He's grabbed 5 rebounds, 5 rebounds. And you can see here we've got 4, 10, 7, 5. So again, an 86% hit rate against the Grizzlies that he's had success. I love to see that. And another thing that I've noted is against the Grizzlies, he's really struggled shooting the ball. 3 for 11, 2 for 15, 5 for 12. So he hasn't really given his best performances offensively, but we know that Dillon Brooks is probably getting up for this game. He probably has some fans or friends, family inside the crowd as well. And we know that he likes to play that spoiler role. And what better way to do that by being a menace, not only on the defensive end, but also on the rebound glass. Now, as we look at this game in a little bit deeper, I want to take a look specifically at what the Grizzlies have been doing defensively, not only against starting small power forwards, but against starting small forwards as well, because I don't know how Dillon Brooks is a power forward, because they literally have Amon Thompson here as the small forward, but that's whatever the Rockets are doing with the rotation. Now, we know Amon Thompson's been grubbing lately. We can see here his line's at 10.5, and recently he had 5, 9, 14, 16, 10. He's been grubbing on the board. So I believe that the Grizzlies are going to show kind of extra attention to him because he's that energy guy. You can see here he's averaging about 40 minutes per game or so. But now with Dillon Brooks against other power forwards, you can see the Grizzlies have not been rebounding that well against them. They're giving about 7 rebounds per game to opposing power forwards. Now, if we look at opposing small forwards, because that's what Dillon Brooks might be playing as well, they've been giving up on average, here, let me scroll over, 5 rebounds a game to small forwards or power forwards. So whatever kind of position you think Dillon Brooks is, the Grizzlies are giving up rebounds to that position. You can see recently against Josh Hart, 10 rebounds. Against Marketing, 6 rebounds. Against, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, 4 rebounds. Against Miles Bridges, 5. Julius Randle, 11. Harrison Barnes, 4. 5. Amon Thompson, 13. You get the point. So for me, it's kind of a mixture of not only, I don't want to say a revenge angle because there's really no revenge here. It's just more of like a get up spot. And the number's just so low, 3.5. And when you look at the usage for Dillon Brooks, 34 minutes per game he's averaging. He's getting about 16% of usage, but that's really because of his offensive side. He doesn't really shoot the ball a whole lot. He doesn't really touch the ball a lot, but that should, again, lead to opportunities on the defensive glass. I'm expecting him to be guarding Ja from time to time, and we know Ja likes to not only shoot, but also make that extra pass, which could lead to offside rebounding potentials. So for me, it's just one of those systems where I like it here. I like the way Dillon Brooks has been playing recently. He's got his confidence. He's got his swagger, which is something really big for a player like him, and 3.5 rebounds is not too much to ask for, especially for the form that he's been in. So let's go Dillon Brooks over 3.5 rebounds as our first pick of the day. Again, the line is just very, very low. You can see here we can get it at minus 125 odds. That's not too bad. Let's lock that in. Now, for our second best bet of the day, I'm going to go with our bankroll builder of the day. And I know you guys are probably waiting for our player prop parlay. Just wait till the end. I got you guys. I got you. It's a really fun parlay that I put together. But for our bankroll builder, let's go to the college basketball slate because there are a few games on the college basketball slate that I want to talk about. Now, there are a few different ways that you guys can build parlays today, but I would find one solid base like minus 200 to minus 300 and kind of build around that with some heavy favorites. I love Charleston today against against Stony Brook. They should clap them. I love, let me see. I do lean Penn State today at home because Ohio State can't really win on the road. All right. I do lean Drexel against Monmouth because Monmouth is like a complete fade. Bryant should beat UMBC because UMBC is really not good, but UMBC is at home, so I'm not touching it. But one road team that I'm going to take, and if this loses, I'm probably going to be done taking them. But for me, I really like it. And we're going to go here, 3 teams. Central Connecticut, we're going to go Maine, and we're going to go the Cavaliers. So let's talk about Central Connecticut first, okay? Central Connecticut is taking on LIU. Now, Central Connecticut is 14-6 on the year. Meanwhile, LIU is 10-13 on the year. Now, if we scroll down a little bit further here, we can see that against the numbers, Central Connecticut's 13-5. Meanwhile, Long Island's 13-8. But Central Connecticut's been particularly strong on the road, 9-3 against the number. Well, they're on the road today. But one of the reasons why I really like Central Connecticut today is not only because they've been covering against the number, not only because they have a strong record, but it's because of the situational spot that's going on here in conference. So let's go to KenPom real quick and let's take a look at this Central Connecticut team real fast. So if I pull up Central Connecticut, sorry, my typing's terrible. If I pull up Central Connecticut, and we go take a look at the Northeast Conference here, okay? First and foremost, you can see Central Connecticut started off the conference schedule 2-2. I lost against this previous spot against them against LIU. I took them against in this game. They lost. You can see they lost that game by 2 points at home. So we not only have a revenge angle here, but we also have, when you take a look at the Northeastern Conference, LIU, right now they're at the top of the standings because they're 6-2 in conference. But Central Connecticut is right there behind them with a really good chance to steal a win. And the other reason why I really like Central Connecticut here is because not just the revenge, but also from the standpoint of, hey, we've won 3 games in a row. We are a pretty decent team. You can see they're 201 on KenPom, 117th in defensive efficiency, number 31 in offensive rebounding percentage on the defensive side, which means that they keep you to 1 possession. They don't give up a lot of free throws. As you can see, they're number 2 in the entire country in free throws attempted. So they're not allowing teams to get a lot of free throws and a lot of easy buckets. But again, they just lost to this LIU team at home, and now you strung off back-to-back road wins, and then you go home and you smack Chicago State. I like Central Connecticut. They beat St. Joseph's. They've played UMass Lowell. They played UMass. They've played some good teams. Meanwhile, LIU, if you look at their non-conference schedule, besides this first game against Ole Miss, they've lost to Binghamton. They lost to Lafayette. They lost to Niagara. These are all 300 or lower teams on KenPom. And now, after starting off conference 6-0, which was a very big shock to everybody, they've dropped 2 straight games. Granted, both of those games were on the road, but this is just not a good letdown. It's just a letdown spot. And you can see they struggle offensively. 351st in offensive efficiency. Meanwhile, Central Connecticut, I just told you, they're top 117 in defense. Strong defense against a weak offense. You normally always take the better defense. So for me, Central Connecticut, that is the leg that we're building around as for our parlay builder. Now, for the secondary legs, Maine, we're taking them on the money line. If you want to take them on the first half money line, I'm not opposed to it. And the reason why I really like Maine in this situation, not only they're a huge favorite against New Hampshire, and New Hampshire is god-awful, but this is another spot where you have a chance to really kind of bolster your position in conference. Why do I say that? Because Maine is a part of the American East Conference. And if you know anything about the American East Conference, well, it's normally dominated by a team called Vermont. Let's go take a look at this real quick. This is the previous winners in the American East Conference from the men's basketball tournament. So this is the team that's going to make it to the NCAA tournament. Vermont. 2024 last year. The year before that, Vermont. The year before that, Vermont. Then Hartford won, COVID, Vermont. And then you see Vermont. So literally, out of the last 6-7 years, Vermont's won it 5 times. And they've won 11 championships in the American East. Well, where does Maine? They've never won the American East. Well, look at the conference standings this year as we kind of dive into it on KenPom. Vermont is 4-2 in conference. They've been losing games. They're 11-10 overall. That's not what you're used to seeing from the Vermont team. And Maine, They're 5-1 in conference. Meanwhile, Bryant's 6-0. Well, let's look at who Bryant takes on today. I told you that I did like them. They take on UMBC, a team that's 3-3 in conference on the road. So there's going to come a chance for Maine where they're going to be able to steal a game from Bryant, whether Bryant loses the game or whether they beat Bryant head-to-head. And this is a good opportunity for them to beat a team that they should handle pretty easily in New Hampshire, where if we look at New Hampshire real quickly, you can see they're projected to finish bottom 3 in conference. They're 2-5 in conference. Nothing but red here. Nothing but red there. They shouldn't compete in the game. And Maine, they are led by some great players. And again, they are right there on the precipice of being able to make a move in conference and maybe have a shot to win their first America East Conference for the first time ever. And it starts off by getting really good seeding in this in conference. There's losses to Stony Brook, to Fordham. You can see they lost to Bryan in their first game in non-conference, but I love the fact that they've won 5 games in a row, including a very tough win against UMass Lowell on the road. Ken Palm has this as a 16-point win for them. I'm not overthinking it. I'm taking Maine. Now, the last bet that we're throwing in there is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm not going to talk about them too much. The reasoning is the Hawks are in full fade mode at this point. They lost their probably best overall player. Shout out to Trae Young. He's great. But Jalen Johnson's done for the remainder of the season. He was having a breakout season, 20 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He's done for the season with the shoulder injury. Well, at this point, it's probably tank for Cooper flag time for the Atlanta Hawks. And you can see here real quickly that they've lost, I think, 5 games in a row, if not more. They're 20-27 against the number. They suck on the road, 11-14. And then you can see loss. And the biggest concerning part about these losses, 4 of the 5 losses happened at home. And now they have to travel on the road to Cleveland, who lost 3 in a row, but they bounced back with 2 straight wins against Miami and Detroit. So for me, I'm not overthinking it. 1 unit down on this parlay. 3 legs: Central Connecticut, Maine, and Cleveland. If you want to take Maine first half to get better odds value, I'm not opposed to it. And a few other teams that you can throw in here real quickly. You could go Charleston here. They should beat Stony Brook pretty easily at home. Let me scroll down here. We have a good slate. A lot of late games. You could do Grand Canyon as well. They should beat Seattle. You could do UC Irvine. They should beat Long Beach State. Washington State should beat Pacific. So for me, make sure you guys are following us at Noble Living on Action, because I'm probably going to cook up one late night with like Washington State, Cal Baptist, and probably Grand Canyon. That should get us about plus 100. And all those games start around 10 p.m. or later Eastern time. So all these games that I've given you are 6 or 7 o'clock. So we should be able to cash this and then roll the winnings a little bit forward, okay? I threw in Charleston here as well just to get us a plus 119. But the 3 teams, you can see them right there. So those are the 2 bets that we've locked in thus far. Now, third and final best bet of the day is going to be a little bit of a fun parlay that I've kind of cooked up. I call it the 3-4-5-6 parlay. It's the same game parlay. It's a little bit fun that I've kind of just thought of, and it was really because I'll show you what kind of started the parlay. All right, so you guys know I like to use Doink Sports. I like to look at their best bets tab to kind of see some of the trends, see what they're looking at. One of the trends that they pointed out to me was in this T-Wolves and Jazz game. And if we go to Mr. Colin Sexton here, we can take a look at what Colin Sexton has been doing, not just scoring the ball, but assist-wise. He's averaging 4.5 assists over the last 10 games, and his line today is at 3.5. But if you really shop around, it's really not that low. You can get minus 135 on DraftKings, but you can see minus 165 on FanDuel, minus 150 on Fanatics. So you're not really going to get the best of odds value at 3.5. I would take it because you can see 4 assists last game against the Warriors, 4 assists against the Bucks, 4 assists against the Grizzlies, 9 assists against OKC, 5 assists against the Pelicans. So again, he's gone over this in 8 of the last 10 games, 80% hit rate. I love also the fact that he has about a 30% usage rate as well. So that means the ball is in his hands quite a lot. And then you can see he's averaging about 31 minutes per game, which means he's on the floor. Now, we do have blowout potentials, as you know, the Wolves are taking on the Jazz, but the Jazz are at home, so that gives me a little bit more confidence. And the T-Wolves just been playing with their food all season. Now, when we take a look over on this other side for the Wolves, how they fared against other starting shooting guards from an assist perspective, they've gone over at an 80% hit rate, and they're giving up on average 5 assists a game. You can see Devin Booker, he had 8 assists. Veet, whoever, 6 assists. Russell Westbrook, 4 assists. Quentin Grimes is not really much of a passer, and he doesn't play a lot of minutes, and he still had 3 assists. Desmond Bane, 5 assists. Donovan Mitchell, 7 assists. Miles Bridges, 5 assists. You get the point. So that, for me, was the smash spot, over 3.5. But if you go to action real quickly and you take a look and you see what it's at, I kind of just showed you, that's not going to get really good odds value. So this is what I decided to do. I decided to go to DraftKings, and I decided to cook up a 3, 4, 5, 6 parlay. So instead of taking Colin Sexton at 3.5 assists at minus 150, I'm going to take him for 3 assists. And I'm going to parlay it with a few other things. The first one that we're going to do, Colin Sexton, 3 assists. So let me pull up DraftKings real quickly so we can kind of craft this live and you guys can kind of see what we're doing here. We're going to go. Oh, you guys can see I kind of already have it here. So let me exit out real quick so we're not giving it away. So we're going to go Colin Sexton, 3 assists first and foremost, okay? And then make sure you guys do the same game parlay thing on DraftKings or whatever sportsbook you use, because otherwise they won't allow you to parlay together. So we're going to go 3 assists for Colin Sexton. And then we need 4 of something. So why don't we go with the guy who just grubs on the boards, Mr. Jaden McDaniels, for 4 assists. 4 rebounds. If you want me to kind of pull up it real quick so you can just see what Jaden McDaniels has been doing real quickly on the rebounding side. He's averaging 7 assists per game. Rebounds per game, over the last 10 games. His line today is at 5.5. I would take that at 80% hit rate. You can see 6 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 12 rebounds. We only need 4. So we're going to go Jaden McDaniels for 4 rebounds. And then for 5, we're going to go Mr. Julius Randle for 5 rebounds. I didn't want to take Julius Randle. I didn't. I know he sells us sometimes, but his line today from a rebound perspective is at 7.5. If you can't give me 5 rebounds, Julius Randle, I don't know what you got going on. 7 rebounds last game against the Suns, 8 last game against the Hawks, 7 the game before that against the Nuggets, 6 against the Mavericks. So he's hit 5 rebounds in 10 straight games. And then if you look at against opposing power forwards, the Jazz, we could see here Moses Moody's not really a grubber. Giannis had 18. Let's see. Trey Murphy had 7. Zion had 14. Miles Bridges has 10. So you guys kind of get the point. So we need 5 rebounds from Julius Randle, 3 assists from Colin Sexton, 4 rebounds from Jaden McDaniels, 5 rebounds from Julius Randle, and the last one is going to be the 6, and we're going to go 6 points from Mr. Isaiah Collier. That should get you to plus 120 odds. 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep it simple. Now, I know some people don't like taking 4 legs for plus 120. This is just like a little fun same-game parlay. 6 points for Isaiah Collier is not asking for a whole lot. And truthfully, even though it's a low line, it's the line that I'm actually the most worried about because Collier has really come to show himself as more of a passer than a scorer. We can see here his assist line today is at 6.5. He's averaging 8 assists per game. So if you want to go 6 assists, I'm not opposed to that, and that will get you way better odds value. But let's just go 6 points. He's been averaging 11.5 points over the last 10 games. He's gone over his line of 7.5 in 9 of the last 10 games. That's a 90% hit rate. He's averaging 31 minutes per game. He's getting about 20% usage. And then when you look at against opposing starting point guards, the Timberwolves defense, besides Mr. Tyus Jones here, who had 5 points, who's not really much of a scorer, you can see they gave up 13 points to Keaton Wallace, 25 to Jamal Murray, 36 to Kyrie, 19 to Ja, 29 to Darius Garland. The starting point guards are averaging 20 points per game against the Timberwolves. So for me, we just need 6 points, bro. That's 2 layups and 2 free throws. It's not asking too much. So that's what we're going to cook up. That's our 3, 4, 5, 6 parlay. Colin Sexton, 3 assists, Jaden McDaniels, 4 rebounds, Julius Randle, 5 rebounds, and then Isaiah Collier, 6 points. I'm not going to add it to action right now because you have to wait for all the alt lines and stuff to pull up, but I'll add it a little bit later. But make sure you guys tap into the live stream. Make sure you're following us on X so that way you guys can see the graphic and any other picks that we're adding. So for today, real quickly, 3 best bets that we're going with. Dylan Brooks, over 3.5 rebounds, minus 125 odds to win 1 unit. Then we're going to go with the 4-way parlay. It's really a 3-way parlay. We're going to go with Central Connecticut, minus 185, Cleveland, minus 450, and then Maine at minus 1,000. Those 3 should get you to plus like 1 07 or something. And then I threw in College of Charleston against a fade Stony Brook team for plus 119. All those games are at 6 or 7 o'clock Eastern time, so you should be able to hit your parlay or at least know where it's standing before we move to the 10 p.m. late night games. I'm going to craft up another parlay for that one, and I'll add it to action a little bit later. Our third and final best bet is going to be with our 4 picks plus 120, our 3, 4, 5, 6 parlay. Colin Sexton 3 assists, McDaniels 4 rebounds, Julius Randle rebounds, Isaiah Collier points. If you just want to take a line in and by itself, take Colin Sexton over 3.5. You could do Jaden McDaniels over 6.5 rebounds or Collier over 7.5 points. Do not take Julius Randle's full rebound line because you're going to be pissed off when he sells you. All right? That's what we're going with for today, my friends. I appreciate you for tapping in. Per usual, it is your boy Noble Living here every single day, every weekday, giving you guys my favorite picks and plays of the day. And hopefully we'll be back tomorrow celebrating a sweep. And as always, get to that cheddar, dictate your fate, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. All right, guys? Let's have a day. Later, gang.